First up, Chairman of Parliament's Finance Committee, Kweku Kwarteng, is describing calls for an IMF program for Ghana as misplaced. There have been calls on government to turn to the IMF for a bailout amid Ghana's debt crisis. Now, listen to Chief Finance Officer of Valley View University, Dr. Williams Pepra, who earlier asked government to refrain from a political game and seek assistance to put the fiscal economy in good shape.
Time that the country is having disequilibrium or maladjustment in balance of payments, you go to IMF for some funding. Ghana's situation, as we speak, we are above the low middle income, so IMF will give us a non-concessionary funding. IMF may also give us technical advice or technical support in a form of capacity development. And normally IMF would do this and need some training go to IMF, because in the past they have made that allegation that those managing the economy at the time were not in that position. They didn't have the technical capacity to be able to manage. So this is what is really happening at the moment. And so you see government is trying to use the e-levy to shore up its revenue. Using this is trying to resist government to get this passed. So that is why we have seen this fix going on in Parliament. And that is why that I am also of the view that if government cannot get the e-levy passed, our best, and it's happening, we have shown that we are not able to control our expenditure. So a program will help us to be disciplined. And that is what the whole discussion is going. So it's about the feelings, emotions, and those things. But the reality is that our balance of payment is not really supporting us. Also, if you have noticed, a major impact when your balance of payment is not adequate is that you have a 0.4% difference. I'm talking about dollar terms, which is the margin is too wide. And this is one of the reasons why it's giving a signal that our balance of payment is not very good, because as the dollar is being quoted around 6.1 by Bank of Ghana, the forex bureaus are quoting 6.6. It's about 50% of the youth in Ghana are not getting employment.
Well, so this was just yesterday, Dr. Williams Pepra asking government to seek IMF assistance to put the fiscal economy in good shape. Well, Chairman of Parliament's Finance Committee, Kweku Kwarteng, has been reacting to the calls to seek assistance. He says the calls are out of place.
I think for Ghana, so unwise.
Why would it be so unwise? I mean, we've done it before, and several countries have done it before. It's
precisely the reason we shouldn't even think about it. I'm surprised that suggestion could come across at all. Look, the IMF comes to your country. When you go to the IMF to say, so we're entitled to go there. They come to your country and they tell you what you can do and what you cannot do, because you have come saying you are sick, and the doctor is telling you this is the medicine. What the IMF provides you would be some loan. It's not for free, money for free. That money does not even feed directly into your fiscal to help you soak external pressure. And yet they come to your country and they tell you to do this, to do that, to essentially to instill discipline. When President Mama was going for an IMF program in 2015, the way we have run our economy, we do not think people believe us when we say we will do things right. But if the IMF is here holding the stick, then people will now believe that the Ghana government will be kept in check by the IMF. Look, we went in, it was supposed to be 2 years. By the time the 2 years ended, the economy was in the worst shape. Therefore, we even had to extend it a little before we could exit safely without hurting the image of the economy. How could it be that as a country, we misconduct our economy and our finances, then we go for an IMF program? They come here. 3 years, they go 2018, all right? And then a little over 3 years on, you say you're going back to the IMF.
But just a quick one. Isn't your position more of a philosophical stance than some would say the reality on the ground, that there are problems with revenue.
The reality,
there are fiscal and confidence. That is why some investors were getting out of your bonds. Obviously, it is not just for the financial package, but also having that big brother there to act as a check gives some confidence to these investors and your DPs that let's show loans and all the rest. That is the situation as you speak right now. Therefore, coming in with the fund is not out of the situation.
Well, post-HIPIC, a lot of countries have their own challenges. And look, the IMF has reviewed our economy in 2021. If you look at the language of their review of our economy, it does not even appear to me that if we apply to an IMF for a program, they would easily grant it. We don't know. The seed. Two, what the IMF comes to do for a country is something a country of, I speak as respectfully as I can, a country of human beings, rational, knowing what you have to do and what you don't have to do. If we cannot have discipline to do that ourselves, and we're going to be...
Well, World Bank Country Director Pierre-Frank Laporte has indicated that Ghana does not urgently need an IMF program. Now, speaking on PM Express Business Edition, Mr. Laporte said if Ghana can take prudent economic measures, then the IMF program shouldn't be an option.
If Ghana goes into IMF program today, it can help certain situations. For instance, if Ghana wants to renegotiate some of the debt, then they will say, okay, what assurances we have that your economic framework is good enough to pay us back what we're going to reschedule. And then an IMF program serves as that guarantee. Okay? But at the same time, a country can go forward and do things with a program of reforms, and then it gives you money that goes to help you build your reserves and help you with your balance of payment needs. But to the extent that a country is achieving moderate debt, is having a good revenue collection level on its own, we've said earlier, there's a mixed picture in Ghana whereby your growth is okay, but your revenues are not strong enough. Your debt is very high. So you can do it without the IMF, but the IMF can always give you something extra flexibility to do more. Like I said, Ghana can, assuming tomorrow he decides, I want to go and reorganize my debt, reschedule a bit. He can do it without the IMF. But if he had an IMF program on the table, it will be much easier.
It will complement and strengthen our position.
Now, the decision as to whether to go or not is a sovereign decision that I cannot pronounce on. I can tell you the benefits and you don't need it. It can help you, but it's up to Ghana to decide.
Well, former Finance Minister Setekpa is wading into this debate. He's calling on the country direct assistance. Frank Pierre Laporte, as you just heard, has said that an IMF program is not needed if government can manage the economy. But speaking on the marketplace, Setekpa insisted that all economic indicators from economists and ratings agencies prove otherwise.
The World Bank president will go for debt suspension. The World Bank has been cautioning against our fiscal and others. Fitch has been cautioning. Internally, let me come internally. We have had our own academics. We have had our think tanks in the last 3 days, including Data Bank, some of the accounting firms, Imani, and others cautioning against the fiscal situation. We have had eminent Ghanaians who have been involved with the management of the economy in the past. Somebody who is using diplomatic language is telling us the situation is bad. The World Bank itself has told us that the situation. So yes, it is a sovereign right of a country. But let's know that the government is exercising that sovereign right in the interest, including rating agencies and others. So, well, if we want to wind up, let me just say that both internally and externally, the news is bad. Yes, nobody can force us to go to the IMF, even though we had hesitated and gone for 1 billion and another 1 billion from the same IMF. It is up to us to come out with a program, and that is what is missing.
Still to come on Business Live, Institute for Energy Security questions impact of the price stabilization and recovery levy, as this week is dominated by news of fuel price.
The Act 899, because the purpose for which the PSR was established was one, to pay under recoveries for the depreciation of the CD against the dollar for importers.
And welcome back to Business Live. My name is Darryl Kwao. So we are heading into the weekend with fuel price hikes, and now the Institute for Energy Security is questioning the price stabilization and recovery levy, saying the tax of the country's Petroleum Levy Act in Parliament, and Parliament must consider it with urgency.
And government can consider is to review the Act 899, because the purpose for which the PSR was established was one, to pay under recoveries for the depreciation of the CD against the dollar for importers, then also to stabilize prices. Then the last one, which is to pay subsidies. We think that these three functions can be things that the levy is currently not fulfilling appropriately. The agreement or the conversation that was held to pay subsidies for premix and powerful. We think that if government really wants to do that, then there should be a separate legislation for that. But the current state of the PSR should be reviewed and possibly removed. We believe that it's too much for 60 pesos on petrol and 14 pesos on a liter of diesel and a kilogram of LPG. Right. Aside that, also we think there was some windfall that we had from our petroleum receipts. We saw the projection from government was prices averaging around $54 per barrel by the end of last year, 2021. Fortunately for Ghana, the prices went last year, and so that means that our receipts we had generated more revenue, over 30%. Compared to what we were expecting of our projection. And so, if at the end of the day we are making that windfall from oil receipts, then why can't the revenues that have been accrued from that side also be used to pushing or to pay out for some of, especially the subsidies on the premix and
for you this weekend, food chain airs, and we are putting the spotlight on the Setre East oil mills, where small-scale red oil production has become the source of livelihood for the women there. The over 30-year-old business has become the main economic power for the women in the Ifiduase Asukari district of the Ashanti region. Prince Appiah gives us a snippet of what to expect on Saturday at 6 p.m.
1, 2, this is very manual, and so it uses a lot, it is cooked, and then the process proper begins. The process, the production of red oil here at the Setre East mills in the Ashanti region. Now, this is the job of over 30 women who have come together to produce red oil on a small scale. This is going to be the focus of this edition of Food Chain. My name is Prince Appiah. I hope you enjoyed this discussion. Ama Benewa strikes these stock of palm nut fruit from its spikes is a difficult task. Ama and her colleagues here will do for several hours to get all these palm fruits separated. Some of these women have sustained various degrees of injuries as a result of how manual and dangerous it is. But without going through this Herculean task, the rest of the process to extract the oil cannot begin. Next is removing the husks from the fruit, and that will be done with this manual equipment. It will then be collected and carried to the spot where it will be cooked for hours. This enclave provides employment to a good number of the women in the Asokore and its surrounding communities. Abuajowa, one of the leaders, explains the genesis of this work.
I have 24 years. My papa and I, my idea about papa no and my favorite say, medi pa kakra na ge se de meti bu pa ni so ana me ya ma ju se me chinwo a ya chie na maton first na me chinwo me ba ha ya na me chinwo me be wa me bi dia be ba ha be ye adwuma ye de fie kura nkwankwa nua ho na edifi ne de ba ha no ne ba be ye no ye be ye no na papa ni wi nte wi na ye se wusiafo de o mo si ye na ene me nje na me jai o ma dwuma na chi die bi jai na papa ni wi ye no na me buso ana me wa ha e chimwo na me de amanko na ma be fa bu ga na abetonwo na ma bobo ana na me de ko ene wa dwuma na ha me ibe won so me dipa me ti yi mafin se de mu hu ni se no ti yi mafin ni boa kakra se de be ya e be boa asetenem e doso dodo no afide no e 1 2 3 na wine for ne bi ko e wo fide ni ba ko nso ato aso e wo yeki no mu nyina wa ha ti bi nyina ti mi ye adwuma ba e mu nyina fise chere isi ha e na call manya private no mo so atesi wo ho aye adwuma.
All right, so the full report is airing tomorrow, Saturday at 6 p.m. on this channel. Don't miss it. That is it for Business Live. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. We have more on the World Bank interview there. You can read it during the weekend. My name is Darryl Kwao. We'll leave you with your money tips on Money Lab.